Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Does it feel that technology is moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour at the moment in this digital age of exponential change? And in particular, the blockchain space seems to be going even faster. And anyone that has disappeared for a few months or, lost interest during the crypto winter, they'll now be finding their way back into the industry and wanting to learn more and thinking to themselves, what is zero knowledge proofs? Because it seems to be everywhere at the moment. So I wanted to learn more about zero knowledge proofs. And I thought, where am I going to go? Who am I going to call? No, not Ghostbusters. I was thinking more about a group of zero knowledge proof pioneers. And that search took me to Tel Aviv in Israel. So I invited John, who's the CEO and co-founder of QEDIT, which is spelt QEDIT. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. And that enterprise solution is used for preserving data privacy on the blockchain. And this is a pretty big thing here. It's also received the European Commission Seal of Excellence. And essentially, they offer a privacy layer for the blockchain network that lets you keep details of blockchain transactions private from other nodes using, here's that phrase again, zero knowledge proof cryptography. So anyone interested in learning more about this space will find so much value in today's episode. And I guarantee you'll learn a thing or two along the way too. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to Tel Aviv in Israel so we can speak with the CEO and co-founder of QEDIT and talk about this enterprise-ready privacy layer and how it can accelerate blockchain adoption with the highest of privacy standards. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Jonathan Rouach. I'm a co-founder at a company called QEDIT. It's pronounced QEDIT, but it's written QEDIT. And we're a provider of privacy for the blockchain space, for enterprise blockchain. Specifically, we're bringing zero knowledge proof, and we're making it useful for big companies to deploy blockchain between them.
Fantastic. And QEDIT provides an enterprise solution for preserving privacy on the blockchain. But can you help any business leaders listening that are going to be listening all over the world understand the kind of problems that you're helping them solve and also the kind of value that you can bring for their business?
Sure. So businesses have this kind of two competing trends that they need to deal with. They have more and more private data that they have to keep private. There's a lot of regulation around keeping data private, GDPR, and everything is treated like almost like a credit card. So companies have to keep the data private, but at the same time, they want to improve their processes between them to collaborate with other companies. And often this collaboration happens on the same private data. So how do you keep the data private, but you still collaborate between companies? And this is what QEDIT solves. We make it possible to collaborate using private data, but not sharing the data. Instead of sharing data, you share proofs about the data. We're a company that's using cryptography called zero knowledge proof. And I can explain a bit more about that.
Well, zero knowledge proofs for anyone that follows blockchain and crypto, or let's say they've just come out of hibernation from the crypto winter, they're probably just hearing about zero proofs for the first time. So first of all, can you just give me a quick overview on that?
Sure. So a zero knowledge proof is a way to prove something on data, but without having to reveal that data itself. And to give you an example, so my 5-year-old at home got a book, a Where's Wally book, and she was looking for Wally on that page. And she got really frustrated, couldn't find the character. And she didn't trust me that there's actually a Wally on the page. So I needed to prove to her that Wally is on the page, but I couldn't point to Wally. That's private information. That's information I want her to find, not reveal. So how do I prove that Wally is there without revealing the location of Wally? I need a zero knowledge proof. And the way to do that in the real world, what I did with her was I took a large envelope that's 4 times the size of the book, and made a really small hole in the middle of the envelope. And because I know where Wally is, I placed the open book inside the envelope and made Wally peek, just under the hole. So I can show to my kid that Wally's there, but the context is blocked by the rest of the envelope. And then I shake the envelope and hand it over to her. She now trusts me. The Wally's there. She needs to find him now, but she didn't get the private data, the private information, the location of Wally, just the proof that he's there. And so all these steps have the equivalent in mathematics. That's a zero-knowledge proof protocol of putting in an envelope, showing without context, and then shaking so we can get back to the data. And this is what it's all about. We can now prove that we own, for example, an asset, but without revealing where we got it from.
It's a great way of explaining it. So now I've got to ask, did she find Wally?
Oh, yeah. She's a genius, of course, right? So she sat down on her touche and looked for Wally, brute force, looked for the entire page until she found him.
Excellent. So for business leaders listening again, how can the QEDIT solution, how can that be used to perform private asset transfers, enforce business logic, and conduct scoring queries? I mean, can you offer any use cases that will just help them visualize in their world how that would work?
Oh, sure. So the fundamental thing we're bringing is when you want to move an asset between companies, let's say, let's just talk about cash, right?
Yeah.
You want to move between banks, tokens representing pounds. Well, you don't want every other bank to know what the other banks are doing. You cannot move cash around at the price of privacy. So the way it's done with Bitcoin, for example, the Bitcoin transaction is actually revealed to all the nodes in the network. So yes, everybody agrees that I no longer have a Bitcoin and you have it, but it's at the price of revealing that transaction to everybody in the network. What we do instead is we make it possible to replace the transactions with proofs. So I can pass to you a token representing a pound, but nobody else needs to know about it. But they still will be able to receive a pound from you if you send it. They got the proof that you're now a legit owner of a pound, but they don't. This information is not shared with everybody. It's just when you're transferring, you will prove again that you have a pound and you transferred it.
And you also have some pretty big partnerships. I mean, can you share some of those with everyone listening and help them visualize how you're helping them too?
Yeah, we're very excited about those. There's a partnership with VMware, which is one of the largest enterprise providers in the world. So they launched their blockchain platform, and we are the by default privacy providers for the VMware solution. So everywhere you have a need for a blockchain, you can use this blockchain stack, and QEDIT will provide the QEDIT asset transfer on top of that. In a similar way, we partnered with Ant Financial, which is the largest fintech in the world, Alibaba Group. Yeah. And they also, in China, have an offering of a blockchain as a service. So companies that want to launch blockchain networks, whenever they need to move assets around, well, again, they find QEDIT at the heart of that solution. The reason why all these companies did those strategic partnerships with us is we approach this from a standard point of view. The way to create proofs, this technology, zero-knowledge proof, we started a standardization of this space called zkproof.org.
I think because you've just name-dropped some pretty big partnerships there, I think you would have got everyone's attention with them. So, I mean, also, what are the key benefits of your enterprise solution, would you say?
Well, let me give you an example. Yeah. So with the third partner, RGA. So this is in the insurance space. When you have insurance fraud, somebody that uses a claim and goes to two separate insurances and gets money from the same claim from two insurances. The different insurances cannot collaborate to fight this fraud because they cannot share data on the people they insure. So with this solution, you can prevent the fraud of double use of a claim. So You no longer have the possibility of taking a claim and going to several different insurances and getting several times the money for the same claim. And this is a new way, a new business model or a new capability that didn't exist before. You didn't have a way for competitors to collaborate together to fight fraud. So this introduces new ways of solving old problems.
Now, I must admit, you guys first appeared on my radar when you closed that $10 million Series A round from investors, including Ant Financial, the payments affiliate of the Chinese e-commerce Alibaba. But can you tell me more about that funding round and how it's actually going to help you at QEDIT actually move progress forward?
Yeah, so this round has an interesting particularity. We raised from the US and from China at the same time. So we kind of bridged the gap between East and West. And actually the lead investor in that round it's a VC called MISMA. MISMA is a shortening for East and West in Hebrew. So their thing is to bring technologies from all over the world and connect between those, make global companies. And that's what these 10 millions are for. We're building a platform so that anyone that wants to collaborate but cannot share data will be able to do so. And these are the tools that we're putting on the market.
Now, as we all emerge from the crypto winter, there is a lot more positivity in the blockchain space now. And we often hear about how challenging the last 18 months have been for people who have inputted their own money into that space. But I mean, what's it like for a founder, as someone right at the heart of the industry? Has it been challenging for you too?
Well, I got to say, so we have an interesting angle on the crypto world. We're not a crypto company per se. So we do cryptography, but we don't do cryptocurrencies. We didn't finance ourselves with ICOs or tokens, and we market to precisely to enterprise uses. So we're not really in the crypto space. Yeah. We do have lots of ties with the crypto community because companies like Zcash that launched the first zero knowledge proof into production, which is the Zcash coin. They're the first to adventure in that space, and we all come from that background of Bitcoin, Ethereum. Our first company was Bits of Gold, which is the largest Bitcoin exchange in Israel, as co-founders. So we look at that space. As veterans from this industry, winters are followed by nice summers and all of that. It's very cyclic. You just need to chill and hodl. That's fine. But from a QEDIT perspective, we're interested in the technology, the infrastructure, and we market to the enterprise side.
Fantastic. And what is it that excites you about that future? And, because essentially we're all navigating through these uncharted digital waters, and that space is evolving before our eyes. So, what excites you about them?
Well, in our space, the fact that we can claim back some privacy is pretty exciting. Where we had times where privacy is being attacked on all fronts, and we now are beginning to have first the backing of really strong regulation on how companies can use our data, but now also tools so that we can still do business together even though we're keeping privacy. And this is an interesting era to live in.
So what is the primary focus over there at QEDIT for the next 2 years? Is there anything that's you're particularly going after, or just for people listening and wanting to know more about your roadmap and everything that you're doing there?
Sure. So we're a startup, and as a startup, we want to prove our assumption and our theory. And the main one is, this is bringing value to the market. So we want to deploy this on the market. And that's what we're doing. We're signing up clients so that they can deploy networks that have QEDIT asset transfer at the heart of those networks. This is what we're going to do for the next couple of years, and show that this technology that used to be moon cryptography is ready for actual production uses.
And for anyone listening that wants to find out more information about your partnerships, about your roadmap, and how you're working with businesses and working differently, what's the best way of doing that? And also, if they want to join your community or ask any questions, could you just point them in the right direction?
Sure. So for really technical questions, there's a community that we formed that's called zkproof.org. So this is, we initiated that with Zcash, along with IBM, Checkpoint, Microsoft, so big names in the industry to standardize zero-knowledge proof. And you have a place there called community.zkproof.org. So you can ask any question you want about the technology itself. And of course, if you're interested in our product, this is at QED-IT.com, QEDIT.com. And you can have, an API key to check the solution, and then a bit more description on, the nitty-gritty details.
And what about the guys that just say "when moon" all the time? Is there anywhere they can go?
Well, we provide a moon in the form of really advanced cryptography. So if you're interested in that kind of moon, you should contact us.
Fantastic. Well, I always say at the end of every episode that technology works best when it brings people together. And listening to you there, one of the things that I love about what you're saying is how you've almost built this bridge between the East and the West for what you're doing there. It's fantastic. It really is.
Important right now, right?
Yeah, it really is more than ever. So a big thank you for sharing that story with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
How refreshing to talk about blockchain and cryptography without the distraction of crypto tokens. So I hope you all learned a thing or two today about zero-knowledge proofs. Trust me when I say you're going to be hearing much, much more about this topic as the year progresses. And I love how it can be proven now that data on the blockchain is stored and transferred without revealing any confidential details. But of course, while ensuring regulatory compliance. And on today's episode, John also dropped the names of some pretty big partners. But I also wanted to highlight how they also have existing partnerships with BT Thales, BNP Paribas and Deloitte too. Anyone that's interested, I'll add links to find out more information on the blog post associated with this podcast episode over at my website, techblogwriter.co.uk, where you'll also find 870 plus interviews with tech leaders from multiple industries. And I think we're approaching over 100 interviews in the blockchain and crypto space too. And as always, if you've got any additional questions, comments, or anything at all, you can always email me directly at techblogwriter@outlook.com or tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. And finally, of course, all that's left for me to say is a big, warm thank you for taking the time to tune into this Daily Tech podcast. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. So thanks for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.